All right, guys, we are going to take notes today. So to get full credit, you have to write everything down that's going to be on my screen. So we're always going to begin in our notebook by writing the I can statement, which is I can simplify expressions. And then in the top right corner, you're going to write today's date. Okay, so those two things have to be every set of notes. Okay, that's going to keep us organized in our notebook. So go ahead, whenever you need to pause this video, if I'm moving too quickly, just pause it and make sure you are copying this down. And of course, if you have to watch a video a second time to gain a better understanding, that is perfectly all right. So our focus is simplifying expressions. We're doing a little bit of a review. So we need to identify, well, what is an expression? Okay, so you've heard the word, it has more meanings in our language. Of course, expressions could be our facial expressions, happy, sad, mad. But in math, it is a math sentence with a minimum of 2 numbers and at least one math operation. Okay, so think math operation, we're thinking addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. So if you have to jot that down, addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, that's okay if you need to add a little bit more to your notes to make sense of this. So an expression is a math sentence with a minimum of 2 numbers and at least one math operation. So the big thing is an expression does not have an equal sign, which is why our I can statement says, I am going to simplify. Okay, we are not solving. Okay, as you're taking notes, notice my words are on each line. I don't need to take up a ton of space on the page for one vocabulary word. All right, let's jump into some examples. All right, example 1. A plus 4A plus 8. Okay, notice as you are writing, I am on one line in my notes. Okay, I'm on one line. So I'm not taking up a ton of space. There's just no need. We're going to keep all of our notes in this notebook, so we're very organized. So as we're looking at this, we have to combine like terms. Okay, so like terms are when we have an identical variable or we just simply have numbers, our coefficients. So when I look here, I have two different terms. I have an A, I have a positive 4A, and then I have an 8. Okay, so here I have to recognize that this A really represents that I have one A. It's an A plus 4A. So in total, I have 5 A's, and the 8 doesn't combine with anything, so I simply write plus 8. And that's it. That is my simplified expression. I arrived there because I combined like terms. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so here I have m minus 2m minus 6m. So they're all m's. So we have to put them all together. We want to simplify these. So I have to think to myself, well, this is really saying 1m. 1 minus 2 minus 6. If you're not comfortable with doing that in your head, use a calculator or go to Desmos. Desmos is going to be an amazing calculator that you get to use on your state assessment. So you can absolutely use that in this class. So 1 minus 2. I'm going to type that in. 1 minus 2, negative 1. But I also have a negative 6. So I'm going to throw that in there. 1 minus 2 minus 6. So I have negative 7. Negative 7m. And that's our simplified expression. Now, if you were thinking about this mentally, I look at it like this. I break my problem up. I say, okay, I have a negative 2m and a negative 6m. Right there, I know 2 plus 6 is 8, and they're negative. So negative 8 plus a positive 1 would bring me to negative 7. Okay, let's try one more. Negative k plus 7 minus 2k minus 2. Okay, so here I'm going to combine my k's. I have a negative k, a negative 2k, I have a positive 7, I have a negative 2. All right, so when you see this negative k, you have to be comfortable and get to know that that's really negative 1k. Well, negative 1 minus 2. If you're not confident, you can use a calculator. But when I have a negative and a negative, I just add them in my head. Well, what's 1 plus 2? It's 3. And I know that they're negative. So negative 3k. Okay, we want to try to get away from always needing the calculator for stuff like this. So I always think a negative plus a negative. Okay, well, what are they when I add them? 1 plus 2 is 3. Oh, and it's negative. And then 7 minus 2 is 5. So we have just simplified that expression. Okay, let's look at a different type of problem. Let's look at a story problem. So go ahead, pause this video, write this down, the entire thing down, because you're going to be able to reference this later. So it says the width of a rectangle measures 10p plus 6. So that's important. I'm thinking to myself, okay, that is important. Okay, that's an expression. We have variables and numbers. And its length measures 2p minus 10. Write the expression that represents the perimeter. Okay, so as I'm running through vocabulary words in my head, I'm thinking perimeter. Okay, I know that is the outside. That's like if I had the fence, if I was measuring the perimeter of fence that I needed. Okay, so the width is 10p plus 6. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to jot all this down. I'm going to jot my thoughts down. I have 10p plus 6, 10p plus 6, and the length is 2p minus 10, 2p minus 10. Okay, so that's my perimeter. I'm going around the outside of my rectangle. So now we have to combine like terms. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and highlight my like terms. So all my p's, I am going to highlight in green. 2p, 10p, 2p, and 10p. Okay, and then I'm going to highlight all my coefficients, negative 10, positive 6, negative 10, and positive 6. Okay, just to make sense of this, I am going to write this out. Okay, so I have 2p plus 10p plus 2p plus 10p. Okay, I'm going to simplify those first. Well, 2 plus 10 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. 14 plus 10 is 24p. Okay, I like that. Then I'm going to switch gears and say, okay, negative 10 plus 6 minus 10 plus 6. Okay, if you're not comfortable with this, go to Desmos. That is okay to use a calculator. So if I went to Desmos and I did negative 10 plus 6 minus 10 plus 6, I would get a negative 8. So I will simply simplify that to negative 8. So my simplified expression is 24p minus 8. That is the expression that represents the perimeter of this rectangle. Again, if you need to pause this video to make sense of this, to copy something down, that is the beauty of a video. Let's try another. Pause this video, go ahead and copy this down. Yes, the entire thing. That is how you are earning credit for this assignment. A triangle has side lengths of 7a plus 2b centimeters, 6a plus 3c centimeters, and 3c plus 4b centimeters. Write the expression that represents the perimeter. Okay, so we have a triangle here, and we have our 3 side lengths. So visually, I'm thinking, okay, I have 7a plus 2b. I have 6a plus 3c, and I have 3c plus 4b. Now, I think about this in my head. I don't typically draw this, but I write it out. So I would write 7a plus 2b plus the next side length, which is 6a plus 3c, and then the third side length, 3c plus 4b. Now, to receive credit for this set of notes, you have to write everything down. And then I look at this and I'm like, okay, I'm going to notice how many terms I have. Well, I have A's. I have A's. Oh, just that. Okay, then I have B's. I have a positive 2B, and I have a positive 4B. And then I have a positive 3C and a positive 3C. Now notice when I color code my like terms, I am including that positive 3, that plus sign. I need to know, is it positive or is it negative? So now I simply just do a little bit of addition. 7 plus 6 is 13. So I have 13 A's, and I like to cancel them, so I know I've used them up. Positive 2B plus positive 4B is a positive 6B, so I've used up my B's. Then I go to my C's. A positive 3C plus a positive 3C is a positive 6C. And that is your simplified expression. So I like when I'm combining like terms, I like to color code, so you are welcome to use the markers at your desk. You're welcome to underline, bubble, square, whatever is helpful for you to make sense of this type of problem. All right, let's try one more. A triangle has side lengths of 3.9b minus 3.4 centimeters, 9.5b plus 6.4 centimeters, and 4.1c plus 5.8 centimeters. Write the expression that represents the perimeter. Okay, so we're thinking we have 3 sides. We're going to add all these together. So let's go ahead and jot that down. I'm going to write this horizontally. So 3.9b minus 3.4 plus 9.5b plus 6.4 plus 4.1c plus 5.8. Again, to get credit, you have to write all this out. Feel free to pause as needed. So I'm going to look, and I am going to underline my B's. Notice I'm also underlining the operation that goes with that term. Then I have a negative 3.4, a positive 6.4, a positive 5.8, and then I have a lonely C here. Okay, so feel free to use Desmos. So I'm going to notice I have a positive 3.9 plus 9.5. Okay, so 3.9 and 9.5. So 9.8. 3.9 plus, oh, I wrote that backwards. 9.5. 9.5. So 13.4 B's. 13.4. 13.4 B. So I've used up the B's. Now I'm going to go to my C. okay? The C doesn't combine with anything. So I'm going to put point plus 4.1C. So I've used that up. Okay, I'm almost there. I have 3 coefficients. I have a negative 3.4. I have a positive 6.4 and a positive 5.8. So I'm going to use Desmos. Okay, I have a negative 3.4. Very important that you include the sign in front. Plus 6.4 plus 5.8. And I get 8.8. So 8.8 plus 8.8. And there you have simplified your expression. So if you need to go back and watch any of this video to make sense of combining like terms, which is a huge portion of simplifying expressions, please do so. To get full credit, you had to have the I can statement, the date in the upper right corner, and every single example.